I never really felt like I was different from anybody else. I mean, I have 2 arms, I have 2 legs, I can talk, I can walk, I can see. I just couldn't hear. It was the only difference.
Beverly Anson is 24 years old. She's a commercial art major at David Lipscomb College.
Start marking for me. I want you to use Helvetica light italic.
From the time she was very young, she had serious hearing problems. She only had about 40% of the hearing the rest of us do. And then, when she was 21, her world went completely silent.
I think it was 2 to 3 years ago. I mean, just one day, it just went away. She had no hearing.
I woke up one morning, and at first I put my hearing aid on, and I thought, oh, the battery's dead.
Such a sudden hearing loss could be devastating to a person. Beverly took it in stride.
And when my hearing didn't come back, then I realized, I guess I just lost it. And by that time, I was used to being deaf, so, you know, I didn't get, you know, I didn't get really upset about it.
But losing what hearing she did have did affect her. She lost some of her desire to talk, but the people around her encouraged her to continue. And she also missed things.
I missed out on a lot. I loved music. I loved to listen to music before, and I missed that. And I missed out on people telling funny jokes or maybe a good story when there was a story being told, whether it was true or not true, but it had a point to it.
Doctors decided Beverly would be a good candidate for a device some still call experimental. It's called a cochlear implant. It's a surgically implanted device which takes sounds and converts them into electronic impulses, which are fed through electrodes into the inner ear. She had her first surgery in 1982. After waiting a few weeks for swelling to subside, she went to the Bill Wilkerson Center to test the implant.
So she came to the center, and we put the external part onto the internal, or lined them up, and it didn't work. And, you know, we tried this, we tried that, we tried every part we could think of, and so we sent her back to the surgeon to see, you know, if they could figure out what happened.
A second surgery was performed, but again, the device didn't work. Then last fall, they tried once more.
Turn it on, and wow, I can hear sounds, because there were 2 or 3 ladies in the same room with me, and 2 of them were talking. Susan Logan and another lady was talking, and it was going on, and I could hear what they were saying. And Susan asked me, she said, how much can you hear? And I said, oh, I could. And I stopped, and I thought, I can hear my own voice. I mean, I'd never really heard my own voice, and I thought, that's wild.
It's hard to understand, but Beverly still doesn't hear like you or I would.
With an implant, you're really hearing sound which changes to an electrical current, which electrically activates the nerve.
And yet now, Beverly can hear things she's never heard before.
And I can go outside, I can listen to the birds sing, the crickets, I can hear the frogs.
Beverly will graduate this summer, and then?
I hope to get a job as a commercial artist. I'd like to work for a magazine corporation. I will be getting married in November. Whatever goes on after that goes on.
Jim Watkins, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
Of fingers, millions of thumbs.
Well, they're obviously a very unique family, and they have the hearing impaired children, which it's difficult enough to have one hearing impaired child, let alone more than one.
Folks up in, what is that?
Elevator.
Elevator.
Cindy and Bob Chanin have 4 children. 3 of them are hearing impaired. Their oldest is Chris. He's 8.
When he was about 13 months old, he was in the playpen, and he hated being in the playpen, and I called to him, and he didn't respond, and I knew he wasn't ignoring me because he hated being in there. So.
Tests confirmed that Christopher had a severe hearing loss.
I struggled with Chris, and one of my big struggles was, as a Christian, I know that God is sovereign and He makes children the way He wants to. Hello, how are you?
Their second child was Amy, who's 6 now. It wasn't until they had their third child, Jonathan, that they realized that Amy, too, had some hearing problems.
They did a brainstem on Jonathan, and that's like an EEG. It's in such a way as you can test a very small baby. They were sure that Jonathan had a hearing loss immediately after seeing that. That was a real surprise to us. Now they begin to look at Amy again, and they did a brainstem on her, and they diagnosed her as having hearing loss.
Parents usually want the best for their kids, and discovering a disability can be a tremendous letdown.
I had more of a struggle when we found out about Jonathan's, because I felt overwhelmed that we would have 2 hearing impaired children, and I realized all the serious complications, the implications, I guess, that go with the hearing loss. But there was a point when I said I'm going to continue to trust in the goodness and sovereignty of God when I can't see it.
A strong faith has done much to help the Chanins through the rough times. But they also give credit to the help they got at the Bill Wilkerson Center.
She opened the door. And then what happened?
Jonathan, Amy, and Christopher all come to the center once a week. Therapists work with them while Cindy observes.
The land of Venus is like a very hot desert with no water at all.
The Chanins are just one family among some 30,000 clients who are helped by the center each year. Most of the people who come to the Wilkerson Center are at either end of the age spectrum.
60% of that population is under the age of 15, and another large percentage, probably 20%, would be over the age of 65. So we operate quite a bit on the 2 ends of the continuum.
And even though the center has a national and international reputation for its treatment and research, its doors are open to anyone in need.
No one is turned away at the Bill Wilkerson Center. We reduce the fees for those people who are unable to pay the full fee.
But it takes more than good treatment to succeed like the Chanins.
I think that one of the unique things about the Chanins is that they really emphasize the positive things about their children.
Who's that? Daddy! My feet. Here comes.
You know, we're not miserable with these children. We do have a joyful life.
With the support of their parents and the help they've received from the Wilkerson Center, there are almost no limits as to what these kids will be able to achieve in their lives.
They've got fantastic courage, and we're also very proud of them.
Jim Watkins, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Sometimes when I'm having all sorts of problems, I'll go out, you know, and I'll run 5 or 6 miles.
Even though Scott Gibbs enjoys running, he is not the kind of person who runs away from his problems. Scott is a junior at Vanderbilt, majoring in chemistry, and for about 15 years, he has had trouble talking.
I first became aware that I had a problem with my speech, I guess back when I was about 6 or 7.
Scott is a stutterer. Since he was young, he's had a hard time speaking clearly. Even saying his name at times was a big challenge.
You can imagine what it's like when you're with some of your friends, and then someone asks you, hey, you know, hi, I'm so and so, and then you're sitting there saying, hi, I'm Scott. I'm Scott.
Scott will anticipate what word he will stutter on.
Hi, I'm Scott Gibbs, and
Then he'll hesitate and repeat phrases before trying to say a troublesome word.
Some people who stutter can predict with a certain degree of accuracy stutters that are going to come up in their speech.
After graduating from high school in Pennsylvania, Scott received the nomination to West Point. It was what he had worked for and dreamed about for years. But because of his stuttering, it was a dream which ended.
After 3 days, I spoke with someone, and he said, "Sorry, Scott." And for me, that was a very hard time, because it was the first time in my life where my speech, where it had ever stopped me.
So Scott came to Vanderbilt, but he knew he still needed help. He set up an appointment with the director of the Bill Wilkerson Speech and Hearing Center.
And he was very frustrated. I think, in fact, when he first came into my office, he wrote the message out to me that he needed help, that he simply didn't have, at that point in time, he was unable to speak.
This tape was recorded when Scott first entered speech therapy at Wilkerson.
The cat.
Since then, he's made tremendous progress which took uncounted hours of hard work.
Anyone that's interested in going through this type of program or another type of therapy for stuttering needs to realize, if they're an adult, that they're looking at a lifetime commitment to it.
There have been times when I wanted to say, "That's it," I'm just not going to say anything anymore. But fortunately, that only lasts for about 5 minutes or so, and then I'm right back out there again. What's been a real problem for me lately has been when I've been anticipating.
Speech therapy has helped Scott, but the real determining factor in his success has been his personal determination. His goal now is medical school.
I really feel that he has learned within himself that he can be whatever he wants to be.
I know that if I practice hard enough, and I know that if I concentrate, and I know that if I have a lot of self-confidence, it's going to be hard, but I can make it.
Jim Watkins, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.